you very much. Can you hear me? First of all, I would like to say thank you for coming. It's just great to see over 90 people, drivers from Malaysia, Thailand, Europe, Hong Kong, and Singapore coming to this race. I really feel happy for this, and also I would like to say big thank you to Switch who organized everything this. So big applause for him, please. And I got the honor to present you the new our car T4. It's a new generation. Our marketing guys call it the Legend. I hope you will enjoy and like it in the future, actually in the short time. And I have a nice present for you guys because for the lucky draw I bring one T4 prototype car. So one of you guys will want the first T4 car. Thank you. So, actually, the T4, I've been working on this since December, and with our team drivers and R&D development staff, we were working very hard. We make over 8 different prototypes until we come to the T4, and T4 includes all the new features like the new platform, new chassis design, top deck, super low shock towers, all new super low profile aluminum shocks. We now call it SLP, it's a shortage, and also the new springs called 4S. All new redesigned re-engineered buckets, all new unique super low profile twig free mount, all new super bucket trams. Updated our lower suspension holders, steering system, twig fix, free servo mount, servo saver, anti-roll bars, rear upright, composite hubs, low profile lower bumper mounts, optimized shut, and this all features the new T4. So, since December I was working very hard to improve our T3 car, which was actually pretty good, but I actually see after the long winter season that we are missing some things that I wanted to improve, and we were a little bit struggling with the traction rolling in the high traction conditions, and some of our customers said that the car has a very good steering, but it's a little bit more difficult to drive. So I was thinking like in which way I can improve this, and I come up with the idea that the geometry is actually pretty good, but the only problem is the higher CG. So my main goal was to improve the CG and to make the car as low as possible, and this I was able to do with the super low profile shocks, which are like 12mm lower, also 15mm lower shock towers, lower motor mount. As you can see on the picture number 3, I removed a lot of material to lower the seat as much as possible and to save some weight, and also I lowered the front bumper. As you can see on the picture, you can see the comparison of T3 and T4 car. So T4 car is 15mm lower, and it's the lowest car with this shock system on the market. Another idea was to improve the chassis flex, because I wanted to increase the traction, to get more steering, and to make the car easy to drive in low but also high grip conditions. First of all, I achieve it by the position of the bulkheads, which I make more narrow. So now the bulkhead width is the same as the light shaft width on the T3. New suspension holders. I changed the chassis thickness. Before we used 2.5mm chassis, and now we change it to 2.2. We have been testing like 4 or 5 different chassis thicknesses in all conditions, on asphalt, on carpet, in high grip, low grip, and we found out with the one best combination, which was 2.2. It's better on the low traction because it increased traction, and also in the high grip traction conditions because it doesn't traction roll that easy. changed a little bit the chassis shape in the front and in the back to get more steering in the front and for more traction in the rear. Also, the top deck was modified and motor mount, as I mentioned already. And the motor mount is pretty unique because it's independent from the light shaft buckets and it's mounted actually only by the 2 screws. Here you can see the modifications that I made. Many drivers were, normal customers actually were coming to me and said that they would actually love to get more traction because normal drivers are driving in the local clubs and the traction is not very high. The number of drivers is not very high, and therefore my main focus was also to increase the traction. I achieved it by improving the chassis flex, narrow the bulkheads, the chassis that I already mentioned, shape of the top deck, and lower the motor mount. Another my goal was to achieve also more steering because as the top drivers can say, they have never enough steering. So this is like a never-ending story and I try to increase it as well. So I achieve it by the new steering system with lower CG, chassis flex, thinner chassis, and also by the changing the anchor mount. Because of nowadays the electronics weight is increasing from year to year. Also you can see on the batteries that the weight is increasing because the capacity is increasing as well. Therefore I wanted to move actually everything more into the center, and I achieve it by the narrower bulkheads and also motor mount, which is even 3 mm more into the center compared to other motor holders. Here you can see the comparison of the chassis shape, and also the bulkheads are 6 mm more into the center compared to the old car. Here you can see the shape of the top deck that is straight in the back to get more traction, and also I include 2 more screws in the front of the light shaft to get more steering. Here are mentioned the super low profile shocks, which are 12 mm shorter than the standard ones, and I wanted to achieve the same amount of oil as it was on the old shocks, and therefore I increased the size, actually the diameter of the shock body. Finally, the most feedbacks that I received from our drivers was that they felt not very happy about the shocks because we include the plastic shocks, so T4 will include aluminium shocks. Actually, the shocks were completely redesigned from the shock shaft, steel piston, shock body, O-ring, springs, everything is new. We also changed a little bit the upper shock cap, which is now a little bit more free to get more play, to get more traction. Because I shortened the shocks and shock towers, I need to change also the springs. We've been testing and back-to-back comparing the short springs with the standard springs, and we realized that the short springs are even better than the standard because we get more steering traction and cornering speed. So we introduced a whole new set of shock springs. There are standard linear springs, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9, but also progressive springs, which are a little bit softer in the beginning and harder at the end, which means that when you are entering the corner, you get more traction because the spring is softer and more like 2.3 or 2.5, for example. But when the car more raw, the spring becomes harder. one, which is 15mm lower. Here you can see detailing the new shape of the bulkheads, which I completely redesigned as well. So now the front and rear big bulkhead is the same. I made this by purpose to get more steering and more traction because of the flex. Here you can see the new motor mount, and also in the upper view you can see the comparison with the T3, so which is much lower. So you lower the CG, you lower the weight, and you improve the flex of the chassis, which increase the traction. And also the light shaft, the motor mount is mounted on the light shaft pocket with 2 screws, and with the nut in the center. Nut I make because it's more tweak free, because when you tie it directly to the aluminium, when you crash, it can make the chassis tweak. So with the nut, it's like more tweak free. Also, the upper classes are different because I make the bulkheads narrower, so I had to modify also the upper bulkheads to make the geometry same, but also lower than by 2mm. Everybody was asking me when I made the bulkheads narrower if I modified also the diff and spool. No, I just modified the bearing holders to make it easy for our customers and keep the same differential and spool. So now the bearing is deep more inside of the bearing holder. So you can use the same differential and spool. I also made the rear suspension more narrower by 0.75 millimeter to get more in-corner steering. And there is also integrated toe-in. I also modified a little the arm holders in the front. I make the special cut so that you can easier adjust the anchor mount. And also in the rear, instead of 1 screw, I use 2 screws to make it more safe because of the crashing accident. We also, as first we introduced already with the free optional servo mount that was independent from the chassis. Now it's we were able to modify it in a much precise and nicer way. As you can see, the servo is independent from the chassis and is mounted on the one holder that is almost in the center of the chassis to improve the balance and unwanted tweak. I changed a little the steering plate as well. Now I moved the steering linkage from the servo into the center of the linkage of the plate to make quicker response from right to left side. So in the chicanes the car will be more responsible and change the direction quicker. And also the shim works like a stop when you use the full steering. So the steering lock is not on the steering block but on the steering plate. So you achieve maximum 25 degrees of steering. So the main advantage of this is that when you enter the corner, the car doesn't stop in the corner and is rotating more freely. We include also one extra mount for the linkage on the servo saver. Because the bulkheads are narrower, I had to modify also the anti-roll bars, so the anti-roll bars are more narrower, and in the rear the mounting system is different, so we don't mount it from the back side but from the top, which is much easier and mainly for changing the wires and for working on the car is much easier now. We also changed the hardness of the rear hubs. Now we use the hard hub to make the car more stable and to improve the on-power steering. And we use 50mm drive shafts instead of 52 in the rear because I make the rear more narrow, so it would not fit. Because I try to lower everything as much as possible, I also lower the bumper, which you can see is 5mm lowered. And you can see again the comparison of